The stick mom called the stick family for a heartfelt story, like, she always Dee.
This is the story of a man who was invisible to the world. He had no money, no connections, and a spirit that had been crushed by the weight of 1,000 no's, until he discovered one ruthless secret. He started waking up at 5 a.m. every single morning, and in just 90 days, the man who couldn't pay his rent became the man everyone wanted to hire. What he did in the freezing silence of those dawn hours will shake you to your core, and it is the only answer you need to the questions haunting your late-night thoughts. Before we begin, if you are ready to stop making excuses and start building a legacy, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your transformation starts right here. In the gray heart of a city that never stopped moving, lived Elias. At 34, Elias didn't just feel poor, he felt erased. He worked as a janitor in a high-rise office building, scrubbing the floors of boardrooms where men half his age made millions. Every night, he mopped the marble, looking at the city lights through the floor-to-ceiling glass, feeling like a moth hitting a window. He lived in a basement apartment where the pipes hissed and the air felt heavy with the scent of damp concrete. His bank account was a graveyard of insufficient funds notices. His only joy was a tattered sketchbook he kept under his mattress, filled with architectural designs for buildings he knew he would never see built. One night, as he was emptying a trash bin in a corner office, he saw a sticky note on a mahogany desk. It didn't have $1 million formula. It simply said, "The world belongs to those who conquer the dawn." Elias looked at his reflection in the dark window. He saw a man who was tired of being tired. He saw a man who was waiting for a rescue that was never coming. That night at 2 a.m. he walked 4 miles home in the freezing rain, sat on his crate of a chair, and set his alarm for 5 a.m. When the alarm shrieked 3 hours later, Elias felt a physical pain in his chest. His room was ice cold. His mind screamed that he was delusional, that he needed sleep, that he was just a janitor. But he remembered the marble floors he scrubbed for other men. He stood up. Hour 1, the forge. From 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., while the city was a tomb of silence, Elias sat at his small table. He didn't look at his phone. He didn't look at the news. He opened a stolen textbook on structural engineering and began to teach himself. He watched free lectures on a cracked screen. While his neighbors were dreaming of escaping their lives, Elias was building the tools to break his chains. Hour 2, the spirit. From 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., he ran. He didn't have expensive shoes. He ran in old sneakers through the biting morning mist. Every step was a strike against his own weakness. He ran until his lungs burned, until the voice in his head telling him to quit was drowned out by the rhythmic pounding of his heart. The first 30 days were a war. Elias walked through his shifts like a ghost, his body aching, his eyes bloodshot. People laughed at him. "Why are you waking up so early to go nowhere?" they asked. He didn't answer. He just kept scrubbing and he just kept waking up. By day 60, something shifted. The janitor was gone. In his place stood a man with shoulders that didn't slump. His skin cleared. His eyes held a terrifying focus. He had finished 3 online certifications in drafting and design. He wasn't just sketching buildings anymore. He was calculating their weight, their wind resistance, their soul. On day 85, Elias did something unthinkable. He didn't mop the floor of the lead architect's office. He left his portfolio on the desk. On day 90, Elias arrived at the building for his night shift. The security guard stopped him. "The CEO wants to see you. Now." Elias walked into the same office he had scrubbed for 3 years. The architect was holding the tattered sketchbook. He looked at Elias, really looked at him, and saw a man who had more discipline in his pinky finger than the rest of the firm combined. "The designs are raw," the architect said, "but the mathematics are perfect. Where did you learn this?" Elias didn't blink. "Between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., while you were sleeping." He was hired as a junior drafter that night. His salary tripled. His basement apartment was traded for a studio with a view of the sunrise. 5 years later, Elias stood in front of a ribbon-cutting ceremony for a new library he had designed. A reporter asked him, "What is the secret to your meteoric rise? Was it luck? Talent?" Elias looked at his watch. It was almost evening, but in his mind, it was always 5 a.m. He smiled and said, "I didn't beat the competition. I beat the version of myself that wanted to stay in bed." The secret isn't in the talent, it's in the silence of the dawn. The crowd cheered, but Elias was already thinking about tomorrow morning. Because success isn't a trophy you keep on a shelf. It is a daily execution. It is the choice to stand up when the world is dark and the bed is warm. It is the 5 a.m. fire that burns away the nobody and forges the legend. Your alarm is going to go off tomorrow. The question isn't whether you'll hear it. The question is, who will you choose to be when you turn it off?